Peace, welcome, and greetings to the fifth annual and totally virtual Bridge PHL Theater Festival. I'm Merlin Brown, co-founding director. We have an exciting lineup of performances this year that I hope you will enjoy. We want to thank all of the artists who are participating in the festival this year. We also want to thank our fabulous technical team from the Rotunda, including Gina Renzi and Dean Myers. And of course, thanks to all of you for being here. Since our beginning 5 years ago, the mission of the Bridge PHL has been to foster healing connections between diverse communities, encouraging openness and dialogue on racial oppression, privilege, inclusion, intersectionality, and bias through powerful acts of theater. But we would like to caution you, the pieces we present at the Bridge PHL frequently explore some difficult subject matter explicitly. We embrace our artists' bravery wholeheartedly and ask that you please take that into consideration when viewing this work. Please join us down in the chat during this performance. And if you have any questions or comments for the artists, please also note them in the chat. We will be sure to pass those on to the artists and we'll post some of their responses on our social media and website. Thank you again for joining us and enjoy the show.
My new piece called I Will Breathe, my response to what's been going on in the streets and across this nation and people just connecting and wanting to be heard. I Will Breathe by Nichole M. Palmer, 2020. Breathe. Black man murdered by Minneapolis cops. 17-year-old witnesses video goes viral. A nation erupts. Damn. It's Emmett Till all over again, and FB is the open casket. Make it stop! Make it stop. Breathe. Centuries-old rage screams in city streets, remembering our Middle Passage Holocaust. 2 million strong Africans died, 11 million strong Africans survived, 500,000 enslaved as labor solely to make America great. That was between 1525 and 1866. It's 2020. Shackles exchanged for handcuffs. Make it stop, dear God, make it stop. Breathe. See, Black blood soaked in America's soil, spilled in cotton fields and concrete jungles. Black bodies strung up and swung, wore nothing, rags, work clothes, three-piece suits or military dress. Black minds systematically caged through educational brainwashing of keeping Black history, a gray box on a page in a chapter of a book told her once to read in school, if at all. Black people are not immigrants. That is not our experience. Breathe. These memories knowingly or unknowingly pump in the veins of today's generations of those Africans who survived. We march, we protest, we cry, we scream, we rage. Breathe. All of this points to systemic and legislative racism that America would like the world to never know. Too late. Her shame like soiled panties waves in the air. She's not really the home of the free, at least for those of us who look like me, whose skin ranges from vanilla to black blue hues, all beautiful, all targeted behind car wheels and shopping carts in America. Breathe. For months, years, decades, centuries, our cries for justice fell on deaf ears. Our tears for compassion ignored as being too emotional, too angry, too disturbing. But you hear us now, right? American skies choke on the smoke of destroyed dreams, hopes, and lives. Looting and destroying neighborhoods are never the answer, but change must come. And when it does, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland, and many others will rest. Their deaths not in vain, their memories the spark that push Black people over the edge and onto the streets, the news, and FB pages with others who care. Writing, speaking, marching, demanding to breathe. My response, My words, my heart bleeding onto the floor. But I know even in this, God still has to have his say. And he will. And he will. I take solace in that. And I know in the end, there will be change. And America will figure out who America really is. Thanks and peace.
When you think of your mother, what do you see? When you picture her, what do you see?
So I'm just going to think about my mom for a little while. Because it was all so overwhelming. It all happened at once. And I mean, it was over months, but it was such a dense chapter. And I just wish she was still here. Oh, she was a lion, tiger, badger, wolverine, whatever. She was the most protective of her children, but of all children. She had a profound sense of justice and injustice, and I know where she would have been today. She would have been at the front of the line, this scrawny old woman leading the charge for justice. That's who she was. She was. Can I share something with you? I call now just to hear her voice. Ragged, raspy, slurred. But still, my mommy's voice. I must have heard that voice from her womb. I think she sang then. Though not later. My bet is someone told her she couldn't. But she was young when I lived inside her. I know she was excited to feel me. eager to see me. And I bet she sang in those days. So I sing to her, till my voice is as aged as hers. And I know she knows it's me. The nurses say she sings along, but I know nurses lie. Out of kindness, to be sure, but still, a lie's a lie. But I know she knows it's me. I know she knows it's me, and I know she knows she loves me. Even if she no longer knows my name or that I'm her middle daughter, I know she knows it's me. And I am singing her to sleep. And every song is this. May you soon have a peaceful, soothing rest, surrounded by love, by loved ones, by the thoughts of those who couldn't surround you here. And know, I will always love you. Every poem I write will be about you. Will be a song for you.
When we follow one another in departure, I wonder if again we'd meet face to face. I wonder if she'd recognize me, recall my voice, my touch, my name. I wonder if I called her, would she recognize her own name? Mommy. When you think of your mother, what do you see?
Oh, she was a tchotchke collector, vacation planner, lesson driver, laundry folder, sweater buttoner, mitten knitter, splinter remover, eardrop administer, nursemaid, charwoman, vomit wiper, diaper changer, floor scrubber, temperature taker, meal stretcher, spoon feeder, birthday rememberer. 49-year wife of a World War II veteran. Railing, wheelchair-bound wraith. And finally, silent, sleeping lamb. May flights of angels, Mama. Janelle, I know you have another child, but I've never asked you about him.
You know, with all that's going on, I often think about my son. His name was Booker T. I'd only known him a short while. I protected him in my womb. I cradled him when he moved. I sang my boy melodies. I didn't think he'd be gone so soon. I'll be honest. Carrying a black boy in my womb, I did have angst about bringing a child. A black boy. I had angst about bringing a black boy into this world of prejudices. As much as I miss him, sometimes I feel relief that he didn't experience this world, that I was not one of many mothers who experienced the loss of their black son through police brutality or through any type of racial brutality. I actually feel guilty because it makes me appear as if I do not grieve him. Like I accept any type of demise, but that's not the case. I grieve my black boy. I grieve differently than a mother whose son was murdered by racist cops. I grieve differently from a mother whose son was lynched by someone racist in his neighborhood. I do grieve. You know, I do wonder what George Floyd saw. Like, when he saw his mother in those last moments, did he see her in her youth or right before her death? Did he hear her voice?
Did she sing to him? Like a baby?
I'll tell you one thing. When George Floyd cried mama, every real mother heard.
My mother died of COVID on the day George Floyd was murdered. I know she heard his cry. Every mother, living and dead, heard his cry. Hello? 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 Are you there?
I'm here.
You know, I was just about to leave.
Well, don't let me stop you.
Oh, no, wait, please. It's been a difficult time for me, Gail.
Uh-huh.
I need a death certificate.
Informational copy of the death certificate. Name
My name?
of the deceased.
Paul James Smith.
Sex,
Male.
date of birth,
October 29th, 19... Oh, no, wait. That's my date of birth. Did you want my date of birth?
Date of birth of the deceased.
July 17th, 1948.
Date of death of the deceased.
October 10th, 2020.
Relationship to the deceased.
Wife.
Legally?
I lost my ring a few years ago on vacation, and I never had a chance.
Driver's license?
His?
I need your driver's license.
Here.
Check back in 4 to 6 weeks. Next.
But I need it today.
You need it today.
It's very important.
Of course it is. Expedited copy of death certificate. Name.
Paul James.
I need your name.
Patricia Agnes Smith.
Relationship to the deceased.
I'm his wife. You know, you already asked
Marriage
me.
certificate.
What?
I need a copy of your marriage certificate to prove you were married, Mrs. Smith.
Paul kept everything. I never handled anything. I know I have it. I just can't find it right now.
Come back when you do.
But I really need it today. Isn't there anything you can do?
Marriage certificate's next window.
And then what? Hello?
I'm coming. I am coming. Oh, keep your pants on.
It's you.
Huh?
You were just helping me. Sonia? You sure your name's not Gail?
Death certificates?
No,
Next
wait,
tab.
please, don't go. I need a marriage certificate.
I'm on my lunch. Come back in an hour.
But I need it now, please.
Honey, if he's waited this long, he can wait another hour.
You don't understand. He's dead.
Then I guess he's waited too long.
No, we're married. We've been married since 1979. My ring was stolen.
Oh, stolen property before.
No, please, I just need a marriage certificate.
Informational copy of marriage certificate. Husband's name?
Paul James Smith.
Wife's name?
Patricia Agnes Smith.
You want to change that?
Change what?
Your name.
To what?
To whatever it was
When?
before.
But I'm a Smith.
Not if you don't want to be.
Application for restoration of former name?
Next.
No, please. I just want my marriage certificate.
I thought you said he was
He is,
dead.
but Gail said.
Wait a second. This is for Gail?
Uh-huh.
You didn't say this was for Gail.
I tried to tell you before, but
Expedited copy of marriage certificate. Name?
Patricia Agnes Smith.
I need your birth name.
Oh, Patricia Agnes Price.
That's nice. Date of marriage.
July 9th, 1979.
A summer wedding.
Uh-huh.
Hot.
And humid. It rained.
They say that's good luck.
I don't believe in luck.
I need your signature here and your husband's signature there.
Excuse me?
I can't issue a certified certificate without it.
But I told you, he's dead.
Uh-huh.
So he can't sign.
Right.
So what should I do?
Do you have his birth certificate?
I swore I saw it somewhere in here. Oh, God. Oh, here it is.
It's not certified.
But it's all I've got.
Birth certificate's next tab. Next! He was calling her from my sister's phone.
What?
Said he didn't know how those calls got made.
Excuse me?
Oh, he knows I signed a 2-year contract. Got my password and my PIN.
Excuse
Wanting
me?
to know if I could get him his own line.
Excuse me! No, not you again.
Ain't no man ruining my credit.
Tanisha?
Besides, I never know where he's going. Or
Tanisha.
where he's been.
I need your help.
Oh, you know he won't tell me who he's been talking to.
I need a birth certificate.
Hangs up the phone when I walk in the room.
A certified copy. Yes, that's it.
Then
acting like he don't hear me calling out his name?
Paul James Smith.
I mean, shit. We practically married.
No, we were married. He sold it in Vegas.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
He took it off the bathroom counter when I was in the shower.
You can't trust any of them.
I thought it fell down the drain.
I learned that the hard way.
He let me believe it did.
Full of shit.
I cried for weeks.
Acting like it's me.
I don't know why he told me.
Like I'm the one with the problem.
Maybe he thought I already knew, because of his
Like it's my fault.
addiction.
But no more.
I never thought he'd...
Then he comes around on his knees.
Why did he have to tell me?
Begging for forgiveness.
I guess.
Because I always do.
I guess I always did.
Date of birth?
October 29th, 19...
Date of birth?
Today.
Next! Hello? I said next. Whatever. Hey girl, what's happening?
Hey,
How's it going?
it's going, it's going. I'm working on this piece for the festival about white women and how we show up and our use of the word love. And
I thought your piece was about white women and about how we show up with our use of the word healing.
yeah, it is. It's about both
Okay.
healing and love. So really, it's about reparations.
So how are you getting from love and healing to reparations?
Well, look, I mean, it's an undeniable truth that we, humanity, society, quote unquote, need more love, right? And this country and this world are obviously suffering from an enduring and historic lack of love and compassion. As white people, we have to ask, like, that call for more love, that warm and seemingly powerful, but really deeply vague gesture. I mean, who does it serve, really?
Yeah. Well, sure, there's a long and painful history of white women, especially in the yoga and wellness communities, but also in the religious communities, and I really think everywhere, of us invoking love and oneness and sisterhood while totally centering ourselves over women of color. Like our love is such a gift.
Yes, right. Like, behold, this warm and wonderful feeling I am having for you. All of you, whoever you are, enjoy some of my white woman anti-racism fairy dust. Isn't that freeing?
Right? Okay, we're good now. I feel much better. All the best.
Right? Love and light. Namaste. Totally devoid of irony.
Oh, ouch.
Right? I mean, but we're all guilty of that.
Mm.
That I'm not part of the racism because I have love in my heart BS, right? And we have just clung to that identity because it feels good. And also in part because it's so easy. it costs us nothing. It's all just tragically ephemeral, right? But actually loving compassion into action, that's got to mean like literally giving up some stuff, right? Like giving up some
Right.
stuff we don't really want to give up, and have in fact been taught by white supremacy and capitalism to get and hold on to, right? Stuff like time or money or resources or like even our very sense of ourselves personally, you know?
Right? Like our individualism.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Our precious individualism. And that impairs our ability to see our complicity, you know, our ego, the thorny mass of the white self. I mean, and how our expression of love can get fractured by our self-centering.
As in optical allyship.
Right, exactly. So we may genuinely be feeling a great deal of love and compassion in our insistence on merely stating it in bold letters over and over again. I mean, even in our visceral cry of Black Lives Matter. I mean, if we do that without really sitting in the pain and heartbreak of true love and compassion, without bringing anti-racism work into the daily practice of our lives, I mean, aren't we basically gaslighting Black and brown people in our hugs and good wishes?
Yeah. I mean, look, the whole world puts Black women last. And if we can't find the time to look at ourselves because we don't think we need to, because we don't think it applies to us, or maybe we know Black women who already love and trust us, then we're good, right? Box checked.
Right. And so far as healing goes, then I guess we can just level straight up to the top rung of healed and hugs and friendship, right? Because that's how we see ourselves. And we're so used to centering our feelings and needs. I mean, look, I think we do that in resistance to patriarchy, right?
Right.
But in the meantime, we jumped right over the Black women, their feelings and needs, their perspectives, their safety, their freedom. And so we put them last again.
I think that's why anti-racism work begins in the darkness of inner work. Like instead of love and light, it should be love and darkness, right?
Love and darkness, yes. So what do we do with this feeling of love in our heart? I mean, how do we put it into effective action, really? And I think we have to ask ourselves, like, what makes our particular expression of love radical, right? What makes our process of healing our environment as well as ourselves radical? Because the truth about love, you know, is that it's really determined by the recipient, right? I mean, we profess our love, and when we do it, it's really meaningless if the intended recipient doesn't feel our love.
Yeah.
If our love doesn't come with some tangible benefits, if it cannot be seen and felt in action, if the love does not provide a sense of safety and sanctuary and advocacy for one's well-being and humanity,
then what's it really worth?
then what is it really worth?
Right? Otherwise, we're prioritizing our intent over our impact.
Intent over impact. Yes. And prioritizing our feelings and comfort level over the safety and rights of others' lives. So similarly with healing, I mean, we can talk about needing to heal from our history of racial oppression until we're blue in the face, but doesn't healing take hard work? I mean, especially from a major wound or trauma, doesn't healing require no less than a major reckoning of the soul? I mean, think about it. In recovering from any significant harm, be it physical, emotional, spiritual, the healing process is fraught. You know, we may deny it, we push it off, but that'll just make the wound worse and the neglect of it more difficult. We have to face it. And when we do, for a while, things may be even worse. They're going to feel worse, but healing is painful. It's humbling. It requires acknowledgement, atonement, reform. I mean, we're infuriated that we don't get to be who we were or who we thought we were before. We're embarrassed that the acknowledgement makes us stick out because denial is extraordinarily useful in maintaining an outer appearance of feeling fine and being fine and already having healed, and all this being somebody else's problem anyway.
I don't see color.
Right. The I don't see color myth,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I don't know, Gab. I have been thinking so much about the upcoming election, and I was thinking maybe we could look at this in terms of campaign promises. In our candidacies for allyship, in pursuit of a title that we cannot bestow upon our own heads, what are our personal love and healing anti-racism policies? What actions do we take daily as a means of turning them into laws of our interior existence, like the landscape of our very souls, which then directly benefits the people whose trust we seek?
I mean, this is such a hard time for so many people. Folks are just struggling in so many ways.
Yes.
And it feels like this moment is a real opportunity for us to sit with exactly how we show up for those we care about, right? I mean, have we white folks been essentially just sending thoughts and prayers to Black and brown people about racism forever? I mean, or are we actually taking actions, multiple actions daily towards change? Because I mean, that's how I demand to be loved, right? That's how we all should demand to be loved, ferociously and with humility. I mean, that sounds like an environment for trust and healing. That sounds like the kind of more love we really do need. And that sounds like reparations.
So let me ask you this. Do you think it's possible for a white person to do a piece about white supremacy and not center whiteness?
I doubt it. But I think that we have to look at whiteness to get it in our crosshairs and really see it until we can't unsee it.
And to call it out.
And to call ourselves in. And then to stop talking and get to work.
my imagination. So many have come and gone.
Why are you thinking about me? I said you seem familiar, but all donkeys look the same to me.
Donkeys? You see color here?
Why? No, but I was just assuming I was saying things.
So why are you calling me a donkey? You can't see nothing
I don't
here.
know! Stop it! You're scaring me, please!
That is impossible. Stop all that crying and think. You know me. Oh, you know me. You never met me, but you know me.
Leave me alone! I gotta find my way. Leave me alone.
I don't know where you are, but I know what you ain't. Alive. Yeah, nobody.
Oh, dear Lord! How did it happen? Oh, my poor grandchildren!
You had grandchildren? Now ain't that a bitch, God?
Don't you take the Lord's name in vain? You'll go to hell.
Been there, done that. While I was alive, ain't nothing more the Creator can do to me. But you here, now, this might be a gift from the other one.
God don't like ugly.
Now, whatever God is, it like ugly a lot. That's the only way your nasty, lying, stinking, disgusting ass could have outlived me. Oh, I want to wring your neck right now.
Well, you can't, because I ain't got a neck and you ain't got hands.
That secret shit is working here. Oh, yeah, I'm going to kill you again and again and again. I'm tired of it. The winds come out here from the devil.
I ain't got somebody in my life. I confess my sins. I've been forgiven. Washed in the blood of the Lamb.
Well, I ain't never going to forgive you. You killed my son just as sure as the bullet that pierced his skull, the knife that carved his tender flesh.
I didn't do those things.
Did they make you accuse him too?
I didn't accuse him of nothing. Earl and the boys, they was just looking for some fun. They just saw that the northern boy.
He ain't no boy to you. You say his name.
I didn't know his name.
Say his name.
Emmett.
Now you talking truth.
They say he act like he better than us. They was gonna scare him, but the boy didn't scare, and they went too far, and they needed a reason.
And you gave it to him. Why didn't you tell him to leave my baby alone? Why didn't you just suck his cock and keep him on that night?
I tried.
Not hard enough. And then you gave him an alibi, a reason, a justification. Not that y'all ever needed it. Y'all was lynching us for daring to breathe the same air as you since emancipation.
Oh, that's not my fault.
Well, whose fault is it?
Talk to God.
Oh, you ain't worth the strength or the energy.
I'm sorry about your boy.
What's a sorry worth? I would have died for my son. Why couldn't it have been me, Lord? Why not me, Lord? Why are you holding me here in continued agony? Just set me free. Let me return to the dust and the emptiness in this searing pain.
You don't believe in heaven?
What I believed then ain't never meant nothing. Why would it mean anything now?
Oh no, I tried to do better with the rest of my life. I quit drinking.
Whoop-de-doo.
I didn't have any more children. I was afraid God would punish me and make them retards or deformed.
Your son died. I prayed for that. That's why I'm suffering here now.
No, you didn't. You're a good Christian woman.
Is that what I am? Do I have to suffer like Christ? Why didn't you just take me with him, Lord?
You see that what you did, showing him to the world, made the colors rise up.
And you live to see him knocked down again.
Oh, no, colors got a lot of things now. There was even one in the White House.
Shut up. Just shut up before I wring your neck again.
Oh, man, please. You're near to God now. Just forgive.
Where is God here? God is not here. Is this my hell, Lord? An eternity with the weaver of my sorrow? This lie is...
Stop saying that, please. Stop saying that.
You took my son.
I lost a son, too.
You think that's justice? An eye for an eye?
God punished me, too.
Murderer! Murderer!
Oh, man, please. My life was never the same again.
But you had a life. Mine was gone. It was over. My faith was lost.
Confess your sins, and Jesus will forgive you.
Have you confessed? Have you confessed?
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it right now. Please.
Oh, Jess, you stole image justice with those white tears.
No, I was crying on that stand because Earl beat me so bad that morning that I could barely sit. He said he would do worse to me.
So you protected a murderer out of fear for your own hide?
If I could. If I could take it back, if I could do it again, I would have stopped him. I should have stopped him. I should have told the sheriff. I should have.
Oh, woulda, coulda, shoulda. The three blind mice.
It's getting late.
Is it?
I'm scared.
Oh, there's not much time left.
I seen Earl looking at them coffee-colored gals. Their hair so curly and their hips so round. I always been a bone. My daddy said nobody want a bone but a dog. But Earl want me. Even my pale skin and my dish-rag hair.
Blonde hair.
Died.
You the prize.
I wanted to make him jealous. I was just being foolish. I just wanted a little attention. I didn't know what he'd do.
You knew what he'd do. He'd done it before.
Yes.
Y'all had parties.
Picnic. I didn't know no better.
But you a Christian. What would Jesus do? What would Jesus do?
Jesus would have take his place. Jesus would have died for your son like he died for all our sins. I could have run away. I could have told the truth. I could have died for your son. I should have died for your son, taking whatever Earl put upon me. Let him beat me to death. I know what it's like to lose a son, but even if I didn't, I'm sorry. I know that don't mean nothing. I don't make up for you and your boy's pain and suffering. Would you like to hit me? Go on. Hit me. Hurt me. I deserve it. It won't bring back your boy, but maybe hurting me could heal you. No, you're too good a person for that, I know. There are no words for what I did. There's no way to repay you, to apologize. What do you want from me? If I could bring him back alive, I would. What can I do for you? Is there anything that I could do that would make any difference?
Scene 1, Beginnings. Part 1. Virginia natives Grace and Mercy fell in love with each other on their college campus. As first-generation graduates, their academic success was clouded by their family's murky disdain for their queer lifestyle. After graduation, Grace's family, hoping her relationship with Mercy was a phase,
forced Grace to move back home and not into Mercy's shared apartment. Unbeknownst to Grace's family, she and Mercy continue to secretly date. After months of job searching, Grace lands an opportunity to work for a notable LGBTQIA nonprofit in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to gain substantial clinical hours while studying to become a licensed therapist. Despite having a master's degree in cultural anthropology, Mercy has been unsuccessful in securing gainful employment. Therefore, Mercy has been making ends meet as a bartender. Against her family's wishes, Grace proposes to Mercy with a photo journal and their favorite song. They then road trip to Philadelphia to begin anew.
I want to slow dance.
I want to slow dance. Toe rapping, beat snaps that cadence down my spine, dipping me until I can no longer keep time.
Where tango and merengue, salsa, samba, the ballroom, foxtrot atop, backbone beats, grooving delicately to arm freestyle.
I need to slow dance.
I need to slow dance.
Embrace. Point and flex where I've never been before, waltz spooning to rhythms unprecedented.
I crave to slow dance.
I crave to slow dance.
Ballet balance to the cleft lullaby in my heart, each half note tatted with your name. Veins pulse for only you.
The promenade.
I always yearn for.
Scene 1, Part 2. June of 2014, on the steps of Philadelphia City Hall, with their favorite song playing in the background, Grace and Mercy elope with a justice of the peace as passerbys witness their union. As they recite their vows, a photo array of their journey swirls blissfully around them.
Mercy, every day you touch the space fears inhabit unabashed. We cuddle, cradled in unspaced parentheses, adore how we whisper forevers in silent vows. Love is written this way.
Grace, I can't write poetry where our love resembles Georgia O'Keeffe over acrylic and open mic nights and wet dreams. To sound deep on similes where penis pole scale strippers erecting fabled fantasies. I can't write poetry where chandeliers on their last nerve dry dangled tricks, where neighbors scream my name and not my humanity. I can't write poetry where the woman, fifth seat from the back, gains the courage to ask me out, because my soul sings better than my words. Not a legal crook using synonyms for the antonyms of reality. Why do time for rhythm and rhyme when we can stand still, embrace, coil, infinity loop around synapses that make parchment pen memories it regals alone? I can't write poetry, but I try because I love you.
I love you. I do.
I do.
Grace and Mercy are walking through their North Philadelphia neighborhood. Assessing the surroundings and new community, Grace lovingly grabs Mercy's hand. Snickering and questioning glances from some of the neighbors make Mercy release Grace's grasp. Confused, Grace reaches once more for Mercy's hand and is denied. They continue to walk down the rest of the block towards their apartment building.
When a tear falls, who is it for? When a heart breaks, who is it for? When a soul aches, who is it for?
Who is it for when a bloodied body heaves for clarity? Who is it for when brown hands grasp for honesty? Who is it for when pain is caged chasm?
When hungrists bleed, who is it for? When the rope snaps, who is it for? When screams summon for release, who is it for? Who is it for when weeping water drops splash upon cased pillows?
Who is it for when bubbling rage is hotter than a volcano's whisper to the dawn?
Who is it for when nothing equals?
What's left?
Scene 2, NIMBY North, Part 1. On a temperate Saturday afternoon, Grace sits on the apartment stoop to read a book. Across the street, sounds from a neighbor's radio coat the air while the community hustle and bustle cacophony the day. Groggy from a late-night bar shift, Mercy sluggishly roams the apartment looking for Grace. Looking out the window from their studio apartment towards the street below, Mercy spots Grace and flashes a half smile. Heading towards the kitchen, Mercy pours coffee into their cup and joins Grace on the stoop.
Mother Angelou talks about the pulse of mourning.
But she ain't seen Philadelphia at 5 a.m. It's like a freeze frame of pseudo-success and malice, where pigeon-crowned birds search for sustenance from gentrification and earthly decay. The mastodon then had a better outlook.
There's talk of brotherly love, sisterly companionship, racial equality, gender equity.
And neither exists where it matters. Hunkered down in the hustle and bustle, common decency takes a back seat in the minivan, carpooling to straitjacketing workloads that are still whites only, segregated justice arriving on the heels of hijacked hydrants on 90-degree days, busting the flesh of civility. See, from Jenna to Philly, people still rock to the tune of deviants.
Leaving the river and tree.
Holding the banner for ignorance, this new day dawning has already set, for the sun can never shine on theory.
Clearly, the only thing constant in the world is change.
Since the only change seen jangles in the cups of the destitute.
We live a life of variables
that don't play fair.
Scene 2, Part 2. Snuggled on the futon, Mercy decides to turn on the television. Slightly grimaced, Grace gets up to prepare a sandwich, then returns to the futon to sit under Mercy. A breaking news coverage about a neighborhood shooting interrupts local programming. Concerned, Mercy focuses on the unfolding news coverage. Grace, half-heartedly tuning in, continues eating her sandwich and scrolling through her phone.
Continually baffled by deceit, declarations of justice and civility, written lyrics of harmony created by the hand of a cop.
All men are created equal. They are endowed by their creator with unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Mismanaged texts by revered men, leaders that preach change on a Sabbath day, honoring hierarchy during the week, caramelizing freedom with ink and quill, enslaving the bronze and the downtrodden from Hancock, Bartlett, Whipple, and Thornton, Franklin, Witherspoon, Penta, Hoover, Reagan, Bush, Trump, Clinton, biding time. Bold, brazen, and bad business will kill your family and make you watch it over and over and over again, proving moot point of unnecessary war.
An American action flick.
Forcing humanity to do its own stunts out of buildings that are heaven stories high, through seas, flapped across shores, and slammed into walls.
Bordered from dreams, concentrated to the margins.
A national blockbuster of shame and malevolence, homegrown terrorism, white supremacist syncopated patriotism waving flags to a dishonest wind. Will it ever end?
Another breaking story blares through the television. Grace cleans up the crumbs from her sandwich, then prepares the futon and gets ready for bed. Slightly frustrated, Mercy turns off the television, changes clothes, and gets ready for work.
Want to dive headfirst into you, plunge, splash new awakenings, submerge imperfections, come up for air in the vastness of your aqueous comfort. But who knew you were shallow?
Scene 3, Walkabout West. The loud buzz of Mercy's alarm clock wakes Grace. Reaching over to silence the noise, Grace lovingly kisses Mercy all over. Coquettishly, they lower each other out of bed to prepare for a day's work.
Sienna burnt, fingertip trail mapped, traveled euphoria, sangria, scarlet, satin sheets, leaked tales where walls remain, abundantly jealous, no longer aplomb to future gossip, for you're only to the satisfactory yell, flesh, flame, gammon, folly.
After moments, harlequin estrus sets in, hoping for repetition. Midnight blues flax when goodbye render no point of return. Charcoal charred replay if messages were mixed, if ecstasy and ecstasy were beige through fuscus. Runic rusty gray lines sketched old adages unbandaged.
After dressing one another, they exit the apartment. Mercy puts on earphones and walks alongside Grace to the subway station. After connecting to a trolley, they finally arrive in West Philadelphia. Once in her office, Grace hangs up her blazer, places her bag on the desk, sits on the couch, puts on her glasses, and prepares for her first client. Mercy walks a few more blocks over to the local bar and begins a shift. Though apart, it's as if Grace and Mercy are in dialogue with one another.
Let's take a moment to establish a safe place. Place both feet on the floor. Find a center. Now, what are you thinking? Let's start small and see what happens.
Wisdom comes from Black women in coffee shops with freshly unfolded newsprint conversation drenched in caffeinated ink, verbiage fluttering in the air as banners of knowledge, pride, and political rebellion rims lenses atop a bridge nose. With each phrase, it turns itself to reprimand idiocy and lies.
Okay, growing up, is there an image in your mind that has painted that message for you?
Truth comes from old Black men in barbershops where justice is balanced. Shape-ups and haircuts serve as free weights tipping the world's inadequacies to equality. With a swish of a hairbrush and whisk of hair clippers, silently, they run the world. No one hears them. They are debunked as common and uneducated.
Any specific memories or moments that replay to highlight this thought for you?
Deception comes from the mouths of the ill-informed, privilege wrapped in pumpkin spice and whimsy. Gossip is the news of the day, scrolling social media for the mundane, secretly wishing they knew what life felt like.
Hey, let's bring your center back into the room.
Redemption stems from the weary, sipping freedom through broken glass. The blood-red vodka leaves the palate contemplating unreasonable reason. While bobbing on bar stools, the mind secretes, the wallet depletes, and the soul finds sobriety in the long walk home.
Depression is an anger turned inward. Can we continue to dialogue about this? What are you feeling?
Mercy serves the last order, then prepares to close out the bar to end this shift. Grace's session with the second client is coming to an end.
Denial smiles from the mouth of a child that fabricates to uphold parental self-esteem.
The beginning to the end of anything meaningful.
For humanity remains saturated in the fear of reality.
Black fibs vesting as growth spurts.
White lies seamlessly stroke pubescent dreams.
Where gray emissions coat the non-negotiable truth. How does that make you feel?
Time will tell.
Grace and Mercy meet up and commute home. When they arrive to their neighborhood, police sirens and first responder vehicles score the air as they approach their apartment building. Community members are frantically shuffling in and out of each other's homes. Gunshots ring out. Nervous, they grab each other's hands and dash towards the front door of their apartment building.
The river tangles wildly.
The beaver dance is riches.
The fowl nestles, neatly squawking peace against the dawn.
We watch life burst beneath the sun.
Pulling for serenades, grasping needled nightfall, never wanting more than a gaze.
The look, the gawk, burping, blundering, majestic melee, secretly searing shelf shortcomings, points, kind, posturing. Jealous it employs, euphoria sends approval from our souls. We watch life burst beneath the sun.
Grace and Mercy sit in silence under a dimmed lamplight, holding each other's hands as police and first responders disperse from the block.
Life without music is like a heart that stutters to the tone of silence.
Mute, deaf to rhythmic pleasures, nothing to yin-yang the balance, trebles to note yet unfounded, product of auto-tune. We dance to the splinter mundane, toast to the ill-advised, cone watermelon rides of treasured epic pastimes, remix the weight in the water to shallow hums of a spat-on future. Tepid saliva beatboxing, turning culture into a whitewashed drum cadence. Whipping hair back and forth at the expense of Kunta's spine. Blood drops compose the song of failure.
Where all of our children's children will know the lyrics and never their name.
We stopped watering our roots. Tar baby molasses. The image glued to our retinas as ramification for the 3-count, 2-step, shuck jive just to survive. Thanks to a forgotten 40-acre Lemieux compromise, we continue to be a dream deferred. We have stopped watering our roots. Wombs, looming lies, bench-born pride, maelstrom cacophony conducted by our hands.
Blaming a master plan for the outcome of settled mediocrity as new age entrepreneurs.
We've taken to lynching ourselves. Goals dangle on loop-dry branches. Once they snap, fall short. Back to the block where it all began.
Auctioneer to oral tradition no longer resembles the white stranger.
That panhandle our sanctity between great-grand's legs. Secretions of her golden valor now adorned in robber's delight. The residue worn around one's neck chains. Locked gold attained via the bent and folded greenbacks, flat back for less than we're worth. We stopped watering our roots with bass beats and syncopated quarter notes. History is buried without proper funeral. Procession music decrescendos its true voice.
Now have compositioned overture, pauper graved.
Could have been avoided.
If we hadn't stopped.
Watering our roots.
Scene 4, Severance South, Part 1. Despite the heavy February chill, Grace and Mercy pack up their North Philly studio apartment and move into a 2-bedroom rental home in South Philadelphia. Becoming fatigued, Mercy turns on the radio to drown out the mundane of moving. The radio station pauses music to broadcast the 3rd anniversary of Trayvon Martin's death. He would have been 21 years old. Surrounded by crates, boxes, and haphazardly arranged furniture, Grace and Mercy sit nestled together on the floor, remembering the moments of Trayvon Martin's passing in disbelief. Here, they unload the idea of being parents.
If my son was
Trayvon Martin, he'd be the embryonic melee I crafted from neglecting my past, adorned in media backlash, hood-donned in new ghettos where neighbors watch neighbors gun down peace and candy-coated innocence complacent to the status quo. My arms the concrete streets he now lays his head, where strangers click like at his funeral, retweeting eulogy as symbol of activism.
if my son was
Trayvon Martin or Lawrence Allen.
The Scottsboro boys and Emmett Till would have etched "told you so's" through my uterus, raping aborted hope from the lining of my womb, reminding me it's not over until the white lady screams. If my son was
Trayvon Martin, Lawrence Allen, or Christopher Arnold, X would mark the spot. The never-ending cycle of debauchery where tranquility is found in blood-stained blueprints history. The skipping American Bulls record drowning future in scapegoated fortune masked in white noise. White noise fades to black where black fades to the inseam of the mainstream agenda. Executing truth to the lies of judge and jury as I Am Troy Davis t-shirts become currency for Oscar Grant in the misfires of justice. Tasing our faces with the same paint used to tell our legacy. Lethargy, the paralysis we allow to tap shoe in tar-covered pigmented yesteryear.
If my son was
Trayvon Martin, Lawrence Allen, Christopher Arnold, or John Africa.
It would just be another Thursday, April 4th, 1968. Assassinated mountaintop hopes. Too high for the consciousness of some. If my son was
Trayvon Martin, Lawrence Allen, Christopher Arnold, John Africa, or Antoine Rose, He'd be the fraternal twin of the Genesis that swung like new news until the nation grew tired of hanging its dirty laundry.
If my son was
Trayvon Martin, Lawrence Allen, Christopher Arnold, John Africa, Antoine Rose, or Dennis Plowden Jr.
It means I still live in a world where I failed to do my part.
Where motherland means mother-wounded circumstances.
Attempting to balance inequities with commercial apologies.
Until social constructs mean more than updating Twitter to stumble upon a new call to action, I'll postpone his entry into society so they'd never, ever call him headline. To let him know that as his mother, it's better that I pull the trigger.
For tomorrow must be better.
A fusty reminder that security isn't secure.
Preparation needs preparation.
Suited wells coated the place once my added them.
Scene 4, Part 2. Days have passed. Grace takes a break from unpacking. Grace walks over to an unmarked box and pulls out a fertility book and pamphlets from various clinics. Losing track of time, Grace settles into the couch with her literature. Unbeknownst to Grace, Mercy is coming home from a rough shift at the bar. Barging through the door, Mercy begins to unload the day's events, but is paused when seeing what Grace is reading.
Time!
Time, and again, stumble, not knowing we're falling, fell, not being caught. Damn it, Mercy, want a family, children, can't change who I am. But time, and again, stumble.
Lessons. The soul search, unknowns on the outline, forcing the unwritten word, confused yet stumbling, still falling, time and again. No net to catch the pain, cry, hot, melting tears of suffering. Can't erase the throbbing grace.
Sing on to ease the pain. Barren, strange fruit, blood on the leaves, and blood at the root. Sing on continuously to drown out sorrows that cloud sanity, being foolish, maybe, but senselessness, not ever. Just sing on continuously, the lesson, the soul search, confusion, not knowing we're falling, fall each time and again.
Catch!
Grasping for slippery hands, wet hands, abandoned by hands.
All hands?
The only way out.
No grip.
Fall.
Not knowing where to yearn. Salvation leaks from the oily palms.
No support.
Voice unheard.
Yelling to muted ears.
Each time.
Time and again.
Not knowing we're falling. Discarded. Time and again. Self-comfort can't heal wounds. Without strength, powerless. I matter, I say. All lives, they retort. You don't know how it feels, I exclaim. We never had to, they aside. No one listens. Their decision each time and again. Not knowing we're falling.
I need to breathe. Time and again. The breath, unknown hands reaching for life. Is it too late to weather together? Cries unheard, the reach out. No nets to catch the pain. Knived injustice, secure discomfort. Spitting flesh leaves no peace. Want a family, children. Can't change who I am. deaf to futures? Each time and again.
Not knowing we're falling.
Fell.
Mercy walks over to an unmarked box and pulls out a large, half-empty bottle of rum. With bottle in hand, Mercy goes to the kitchen, pulls out a cup, pours a heavy dose of rum, and chugs it down. Still on edge, Mercy pours more and more alcohol. Grace tries to wrestle the drink from Mercy's hand, but is unsuccessful. A crestfallen Grace withdraws inward, gathers the fertility book, the pamphlets, and returns to tidying the house to calm down.
To you, I'm a story. Dalliance in paragraphic penmanship, a literary illusion, putrid pages caressing picked language, inked lyrics with the well running dry when forging the truth, scribbled moonshine pictures and tipsy shadows, plastering bodies before sheets, scripting miraged hope. A fool to play the main character, the vixen dying at the ballpoint, digs periods through each sentence. We aren't a murder mystery to be read over crumpets and tea, the Earl Grey with pinky pointed sophistication gazing through a highly bidded screenplay. To you, I'm just a story.
To you, I'm a dalliance in paragraphic penmanship, not receiving co-authorship nor editing credit. Dejected outline character traits masquerading as leathered foes holding melancholy melodrama where silence seems so loud, moving slowly through this silent picture stagnant with unreason. Hostage to other words and images, forced to steady unknown pace, mute object in the flip book, the ripped remains of dignity.
To you.
To you.
I'm just a story.
A dalliance in paragraphic penmanship.
But
Mercy continues to pour drinks one after another. Grace aggressively intervenes.
You swaddled me like I was your one, only nuzzled life in your liberty. Somehow I knew pursued happiness would never lie to me. It's one notion under God.
Raised with allegiance, crawled to a republic for which I stood, indivisible to the stars and bars that sung tucked lullabies to my soul with anthems for heartbeat, never feeling my own drum. Penned legacy through my lineage, never learning injustice's name until it oozed out of a bullet of a stranger that looked like me. Veracity couched in algorithms that fluctuate by the closing bell, never knowing my worth, yet somehow I hope pursuit of happiness will never lie to me. It's one notion under God.
And even at strike.
Despite many prayers, puberty leads to university to further see the bleeding red stopping never, white checked over black eyes, not sparkle blue like the sea, brown. At the back of the class, though, promised a passage I remember, I forgot, never knowing why answers shackled in muted supplications, searching for wealth, tugging my pride because still reaching for relief. Somehow I thought pursuit of happiness would never lie to me. It's one notion under God.
And even at strike 3, I let pastimes be bygones. We drank tea, pseudo-text free, laughed at others that didn't understand our history. We danced to the rockets' red glare, kissed when they burst in the thin air, painting our future as if no one else was there, engaged to the idea of the picketed dream and the 2.5 mini-me's, not knowing Our first dance was our last. Still, never letting me lead, but somehow I wished pursued happiness would have never lied to me. It's one notion under God.
Scene 5, Core City Truths, Part 1. Grace and Mercy are visibly exhausted, but now, prominently displayed on the wall is a framed copy of 2020's most influential young LGBTQIA therapists, an article featuring Grace. Banners, streamers, and balloons of congratulations are messily dangled around the house. In her hands, Grace holds an offer letter to an elite private practice in Center City. While Mercy is lazily cleaning up napkins and paper plates, they hear a phone chime. Mercy has received an email from a local university where they applied for employment. Unfortunately, Mercy has not been selected to continue on as a candidate. But with Grace's new position and salary, she wants to move from South Philly. Mercy, not wanting to move again, leaves Grace feeling distraught.
Told me we would dance on moonlight and kiss while still water turned pale with jealousy, that tomorrow was yesterday's dream to wake up alongside me, create the us uninked by strangers. Told me we were each other's one, only, with whatever left to muster on my chest. Told me to have faith in you. The problem, I did.
Leaking regrets between index and middle, concluding you reek of rancid trial and error, spewing sweet grandeur glazed in halogen halitosis, liquored nightmares, brim mouth flaps masquerading as courage, alternating fallacies. So when chest clutches for cersitized seconds, brailed impermeable fragments regale tales that wish to be forgotten, unaware it was a palm.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. A long, long way from home.
They'll neglect to tell you that the city of brotherly love and sisterly companionship never mentioned you as siblings, nor addressed you as cousin at the family picnic where you watch privilege play under the echoes of strange fruit. So as your lineage hangs like dirty laundry branch between the American dream and the Greek reality of history, you'll only have enough change to be accepted to carry you to the end of a constitutional tagline that's getting there. Hoping, waiting for a moment to go back home, realizing you never really had one. They'll neglect to tell you July 4th, 1776 was the largest pleated fifth, how the rocket's red glare is a reminder that you, niggers, still too big for your borrowed riches, will never sit on this Columbus throne. So to the right hand of the founding fathers of Osage County, burst through heirs of your legacy, and as the snow dissipates, Drexel and UPenn give white flight space to call home. A camp, no us, they stroll in their supremacy, unaware of heaving brown brethren walking through them. They'll neglect to tell you about the unsung Cosby kids with tombstones for lungs, how they attempted to knuckle and kneecap, thinking the pomp and circumstance could push their batagari down Diamond Street. How bleeding cherry and white means zilch if you're still black in the daylight. You see, in our country, the bell tower strikes. Each hour a temple tea gets its wings, not ever once having to look great grandnana in the eyes as her home is buried with her. Land developers cash their bonded promissory in the glint of sapphire IFOs who only gaze back north to render cautionary tale to urban legend to their seeds. They'll neglect to tell you that while you were sleeping, they scratched English onto your Igbo tongue. So by the time you could taste what freedom sounded like, you spit a heritage foreign to your bloodline. They've straightened your mind, your spine to forget how gay you once stood. Narrowed your nose in clouded truth. They've lightened your soul. They've trained you to change your ashes to amens. You flip through rusted rhetoric, sip its holy water as Mother Earth sits lonely, waiting for her Bible-fed prodigal daughter to return home from school, her son from prison, or either at all. They'll neglect to tell you it wasn't your fault. You, the onyx concept missing your seat to the transatlantic exchange or proper invitation to tea. You, feared solely in theory, your discourse hardly making the grade decades of passing you through the system, they yielding not ever to explain. You, part of a plan, fine printed in the profits of City Hall, bringing you only to the table when company comes, bought and sold to the highest pipeline, deserted suffrage, the hollow cost of Market Street. They'll neglect to tell you that you would have perished long before Valley forced the draft, long before you were exiled from Northern Liberties, long before you ever hearing an apology.
Sometimes I feel like I'm almost done. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost done. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost done. A long, long way from home. A long, long way from home.
Scene 5, Part 2. Mercy begins to frantically gather personal belongings and pack boxes. Grace attempts to stop Mercy by blocking the path from room to room and box to box with no avail. An emergency text alert pings from both Grace and Mercy's phone. Due to protests, civil unrest, and COVID-19 safety regulations, a citywide lockdown has been put into effect.
A war is brewing. You can't pretend it doesn't exist because you chose to be silent on race or politics. It doesn't disappear in the changing seasons or because the neighborhood gentrified your reasons. At the expense of communal legacy, we pledged allegiance to broke stars and bars on stolen soil, toiled by Hugh skewed in reference books. We lost civics and civility when a vote on the voice meant more than our own. When the shackles were detached from the flesh but impregnated in the mind. When heartbeats became metrics. When rights turned to privileges. When humanity stopped giving a damn.
A war is brewing?
your job, on our streets, in our town, on our block, on our stoop, in our home, with our family, in your heart.
A war is brewing.
And you started it. I think it doesn't concern me because.
I usually don't say anything because.
Or that was in the past because.
A war is brewing.
At our front door.
In our home.
On our stoop.
In our home.
On our street.
In our home.
On our block.
In our home.
With our family.
In your heart.
A war is brewing and you started it.
The skipped heartbeat that murmurs to the pulse of absence, the pregnant pauses of past moments uncaptured, time's unscheduled lunch break, overeating syntax with bulimic conjecture, pretending to believe the ideologies of anorexic candor, fully knowledgeable of silence's obesity at the neglectful hands attached to the inconsiderate, the dance of the forbidden where the solutions of others are inexpensive, hindsight, the economic downturn of your nickels and dimes, scream, soothing the nausea of a hungered belly. Depression smells like the tales of fourth grade nothing, hanging themselves by elapsed promises, bed sheet necklaces, and lancet bracelets because the mirrored image never truly mouthed a duration in return. Depression smells like the smell I no longer want to smell like me.
Freedom. Freedom tastes. Freedom tastes like. Freedom tastes like we never knew who we were.
Mercy picks up a box and continues to gather a sundry of household items.
They'll neglect to tell you the only constants in the world are the presence of life and the inevitability of death.
Daily, we die in varying ways, having to lie for peace or pleasure, having to stand, falling short, having strength and weakened flashes, when shifting love to hate and difference, when orgasming essence of soul with embodied strangers to embrace the excitable mundane.
Because life exists in the construction of hope, alarm clock wishes of next moment possibilities, acknowledged engraced mistakes and deliberate upsets, present in should-bes that could manipulate the stasis of actuality where ebb flows in the maybes. They'll neglect to tell you the only constants in the world are the presence of life and the inevitability of death, where nothing equals.
What's left? What's left? What's left?
Mercy finally packs the last box. Weary, Grace slides to the ground. Tears trickle down Grace's face as Mercy grabs Grace's hand and turns over the house keys. Then Mercy puts in earbuds, clicks on the music apps and plays their wedding song, grabs a box, walks towards the door, never looking back. End of play.